Yeah, I mean, one thing that I would say is a big part of what we're doing with a lot of the types of leads that we're going after. We are very specifically showing up for people when they're going through the type of times you were describing. So most of the deals that we're doing, because of the fact that we're helping highly distressed sellers, I mean, I couldn't tell you how many times I've had a little old lady, for example, tell me she's been practicing tying nooses because she's getting sick of the stress. You know what I mean?
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Real Estate Pros podcast. I am your host, Q Edmonds, and I am excited. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited to bring these two gentlemen onto the stage. They are phenomenal at what they do. They are phenomenal at training people, and they have a heart for helping people that's in that pre-foreclosure phase. They have a niche that is much needed, and I am excited to introduce them to you and have you look at things through their lenses. And so I want to introduce you guys to Rick and Will. How are you gentlemen doing today?
Hey, I'm great, Q. Thanks for having us on.
Absolutely. Will, how you doing, sir?
Every day above ground's a good day, man. I'm just grateful.
Absolutely, man. These gentlemen, we've been talking backstage. I love their heart. I love what they do. And so, listen, gentlemen, I'll be honest. I just want to dive right in. I want y'all to take us into your world. I want you to tell us what your main focus is these days. What markets are you operating in? And then just fill us in on your unique strategy within this thing we call real estate and what we all do, right? So I'm turning the floor over to you guys. Let's dive in.
That sounds great. I appreciate it, Q. So my name is Rick Hanrick, as Q said. I'm actually physically in the Kansas City market, but by the nature of what we do, we actually work across the country, right? So we provide solutions and services for investors, agents, brokers, attorneys, title companies. It doesn't matter who it is. We focus on pre-foreclosure and forced sale solutions, right? We are those guys that can actually take care of deals that most investors and agents will crumble up and just throw away because it's got an IRS lien or it's got 3 or 4 junior liens and I just don't know how to take care of it, or it's got low equity or no equity. I can't do anything with this. We take that I can't do anything with this and provide solutions not only in our local market, but nationally. And we also teach other agents and investors how to do that as well.
Yeah, we very heavily focus on this type of transactions almost specifically because of the fact that there's very little competition. Sorry, there was a bit of an excess delay there. Probably wasn't the smoothest, but I was just waiting to make sure I wasn't going to be tripping over anybody. Probably waited a little extra, but
no, I love it, Will.
Sorry.
Yep, no, you good, Will. Go ahead, brother.
So what I was going to say there is just, it's by going after specifically stuff where there's a little less competition, we're going after the hairy stuff. We're going after things with title issues. We're going after things, the properties that make it all the way to the title company and 72 hours or less before closing, everybody walks away because there's something wrong with that title and it can't be closed without some form of curative measure, right? Because of the fact that we're going after that type of stuff, there's a lot less competition for two reasons. There are less people that want to do this type of stuff because they don't get it and they don't know that there are solutions to these problems. And there's some work involved. Luckily, we live in a very, very lazy place these days. So if you're willing to put some work into something, it's pretty easy to outshine the competition. I've heard people say on multiple occasions, it's easy to actually be among the better performers in any industry just by showing up these days.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Literally just by consistently showing up, because other people most of the time won't. But what we find by going after this stuff, by specializing instead of just going after anything that we come across, it doesn't take over our lives. We're able to live a life by design instead of jumping, instead of asking how high every time somebody says to jump. We don't have to pick up the phone during the middle of dinner and run away from our family and go sit down with the seller because of a desperate mindset. We don't have to do that. We know there's another seller getting referred to us tomorrow, and another one the day after that, and another one the day after that. So we don't have that same scarcity mindset that a lot of people do.
No, man, I absolutely love it. Something I'm getting used to saying a lot, especially with talking to gentlemen like yourself. When you know who you are, you know what to do, right? When you know who you are, when you know your strength, when you know your systems, you know how to operate. And I love how you said, listen, we ain't getting up in the middle of dinner answering no phones. We know who we are. Tomorrow is a new day. We know we're going to outwork the person. We know people don't want to go after the stuff that we're going after. So you guys know who you are. You know what your niche is. You know how to power forward. And so I absolutely love it. I guess my question would be, it's not always easy in this climate. Y'all seem that y'all make it look easy, but I know it's not always easy. But so what's the real key to keeping that machine running smoothly?
I would say it's just consistency, right? Consistency and focus. I think a lot of people in the real estate world chase the shiny object. They don't ever become good at one thing, and then they spread themselves too thin and then effectively don't do it. I mean, I don't know how many investors I've talked to that said, I'm an investor. I've been an investor for, 2 years. And they're like, and I've been a short-term rental investor, a pad split investor, a short sales specialist, like you name it. They are that specialist. And then you look at them and you're like, how many deals have you done? And they're like, none. I'm still looking to do my first deal. And so it's really about focus and becoming that go-to expert in your market and becoming so good at it and having it systematized to where it just kind of operates on autopilot, so that if you do have that sustainable aspect to the business, you can look at some other forms of investment or some other things that kind of pique your interest. So I would definitely say it's the focus, right? And the day-to-day grind and learning and becoming an expert at how to remove IRS liens or to accomplish short sales, negotiate against some of the biggest institutions, in this entire country, and that's what makes the difference.
How about you, Will?
Well, I think one of the things that has really distinguished our approach from many others is we are proactively seeking out referral partners. That's one of the methods that we utilize to generate leads, is we're going directly to the people who are likely to already be interacting with that very same lead, oftentimes for a different purpose, though. So what I'd like you to picture for the purpose of understanding the methodology behind that, if you were having work done on your house, it's entirely possible you might have some work for a plumber, but you might also have some work for a tile guy, right? And those are two separate trades that use separate tools, separate training, separate expertise, but they could refer each other business on a regular basis without tripping over each other, right? They're not a threat to each other in any way, shape, or form. At that very same time, we can deal with bankruptcy attorneys who are providing one service or product to the very same person that we can also serve in a separate and different way, and because of that, we're able to basically refer business back and forth. And that's one of the primary methods of lead generation that we operate on, which allows us to benefit from the marketing dollars and marketing efforts of third parties. So it also helps us to not have the same kind of spend that most other people do, because we're capitalizing on somebody else's lead generation in many cases.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Sir, I love it, man. That's absolutely brilliant. I love that. And so, so you guys, you got you got the coaching initiative. You also, too, both of you got your own businesses, and so I'm sure y'all see a lot of different things from so many different angles, right? And so, I guess the question I want to kind of ask, because we have a lot of people listening in, and so many times we talk about the success, but we don't talk about the process to get to the success, right? And so there are times when things get real, right? There's things, go sideways. Sometimes you have to pivot fast. And so I don't know if you guys have a collective story that you can share that maybe talks about times like that, or even individual stories that talk about times like that. But I think our listeners would benefit from hearing some of the process that go on to actually, pivoting and dealing with difficult times. And so hopefully that made sense. But you guys have a story like that maybe that you can share?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think from my perspective, difficult time can mean a lot of different things, right? So, we are nationally recognized as short sale experts, right? And we always kind of laugh because there's nothing short about a short sale. So there is like diving in and actually truly understanding the process, and essentially, I mean, our tagline is to hone your craft, right? The only way you can actually hone your craft is by practicing. And the only way you can get a deal done is to overcome obstacles or objections in every deal, right? There isn't, hardly a deal that goes off picture perfect without some type of adversity, whether that is the borrower that's in distress. I mean, you can't imagine the stories we hear from them and how they got to that particular situation. And you just have to approach it with empathy. And then you move on to the fact that there are more than just one entities involved in these, right? You've got the mortgage servicers, you've got the investors, you've got the insurers, you've got mortgage insurance, you've got all kinds of different things, from all of the major institutions. So where most people would stop at a roadblock, you just kind of have to keep trucking through. And really, at the end of the day, if you do it, if you understand the rules, the regulations, and guidelines set forth by these massive institutions like FHA and Freddie and Ginnie and USDA and all of them, it actually becomes relatively fun to overcome those obstacles, because you're taking that knowledge and what you're honing over time, and you're putting it into practice, right? You're leveraging their own rules against them to actually make money. And at the end of the day, those borrowers, seniors, broken homes, whoever they might be that are in that particular situation, to have them be truly thankful and the expression of gratitude, and I didn't know what to do, where to go, nobody else could help me, and you guys just step in and do it, make it all literally worthwhile. So I get paid good money to actually help somebody who is extremely thankful at the end. So it's kind of pushing through and honing your craft on every single deal, because there's always going to be objections and adversity from any number of parties.
Yes, love it. Love it. Will, how about you, sir? Anything to add there?
Yeah, I mean, one thing that I would say is a big part of what we're doing with a lot of the types of leads that we're going after, we are very specifically showing up for people when they're going through the type of times you were describing. So most of the deals that we're doing, because of the fact that we're helping highly distressed sellers, I mean, I couldn't tell you how many times I've had a little old lady, for example, tell me she's been practicing tying nooses because she's getting sick of the stress. You know what I mean? With that type of, I'm serious.
Wow.
Oh yeah. We've had so many of those circumstances. It's some of the most um, forgotten people among our society. Like a lot of people would think if they're, kind of speculating about who might be behind on their mortgage, they would talk about it in such a way where it sounds like anybody who's behind on their mortgage is just irresponsible. They're a drunk, they're a gambler, they're a drug addict, something like that. The reality is the biggest group of people that we run across is actually elderly people.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
That's the biggest group of people that are falling behind on their mortgage. They're also the biggest group of people that fall behind on their property maintenance, and the biggest group of people that struggle with their real estate taxes and their real estate insurance. Sometimes, even if they don't have a mortgage anymore, when we get toward the end of our lives, we often find that we're making a lot less money than we were at earlier phases in our life, right? So now all of a sudden, even though we're weaker and we've got less to work with, we've got less money coming in as well. And we are one of the only countries in the world that very badly neglects our elderly population. We don't have our parents typically living with us when we're in our 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, whatever. There are, of course, exceptions to that, but we're like the one country in the world where like, all right, mom, time for you to go to the nursing home. You're getting inconvenient,
Nah, man. Thank you so much, man. Again, I knew I was going to be excited talking to you guys. I love hearing your perspective, hearing your heart behind what you do, like the real passion and the push of the why. And so I thank you so much for sharing. Let me ask you this. What's the next, like, what are you focused on scaling next? Like, what's the next real goal for you guys?
I mean, scaling the mastermind is important to us just because we need more solution providers. We need people out there that want to learn how to build a sustainable business in any economic condition or in any real estate market. As we discussed earlier, there aren't enough providers out there to even handle a typical market, a good real estate market with $1 million to $1.5 million pre-foreclosure or forced sale situation. So scaling that is extremely important. And then also within our own operations that we're doing both in our local communities, but then also spread out across the nation because people know what we do. They submit deals to us. We always say 50% of something is better than 100% of nothing that you would be doing when you're throwing that lead away. So you might as well send that to somebody who can take it, look at it, assess it, and help you monetize it. I would think that the scaling portion of it, right, is the next thing that we're really focused on is that intake, improving the systems, the process, the team around it, and then also leveraging artificial intelligence to help us multiply ourselves, gain those hours back ourselves so we can actually be in the living room or on the phone, with the borrower or on the phone with the mortgage servicer or whoever. So that's largely what our focus is making sure there are more solution providers out there because we do have that abundance mindset, right? Life by
Yes.
design, share with others and make sure that others know how to do what you do because they're not your competition. They're your collaborative partner.
Absolutely. Well,
Yeah, I mean that's really the underlying spirit to what we're doing. At the end of the day, a lot of people fail to recognize that real estate is a team sport. So a lot of people look at real estate, they'll look at a successful real estate practitioner and think to themselves, that person's just amazing. They're super disciplined. They got the systems, the processes, the knowledge, the training, et cetera, all in place. And oftentimes that's not the case. Oftentimes it's actually that they're surrounded by the right team. They got the right people in place, and many hands make light work, you know? At the end of the day, no man is an island in all reality. And the success that we achieve generally has to do with the people we surround ourselves with, much more than it does our individual capability. You know what I mean? So we are constantly
Yes, sir.
emphasizing to our members and to each other
Yeah,
and to ourselves that if we want to achieve something, it's usually a matter of who do we need to put in place in order to get that done, and what systems and processes do we need to put in place around those people in order to enable them to do the very best job they possibly can.
absolutely. Listen, last question before I get you guys out of here. Well, next to last question, the other one would just be about giving information. But man, how important are you two, the relationship between you two guys, the partnership between you two guys? How important is that for you two individually?
I mean, I would say it's extremely important, right? I mean, coming from the mastermind that we met in, where he was the mentor and I was the mentee, I am a firm believer of you get out of a mastermind what you put in to a mastermind. And the people that aren't successful in a mastermind are the 80% that don't show up and don't put in the work and don't do. The dynamic works very well between us because William recognized very early on in that mentorship that I was just somebody who did what they were told. Like, hey, go do this, go take this action, talk to the title company, talk with the local municipality, do these type of things, and then the results come. So when people look at him and his 25 plus years of experience and going through the GFC, and there's no way I could touch what he's done transaction wise or anything else, they can turn and pivot and look at me and go, well, wait a minute. Rick is the living example of exactly what they're teaching. He did pivot his business and is now focused solely on pre-foreclosure, forced sale, and creative solutions. He is that model student. I'm a lot closer to the members than he is. And so that dynamic is extremely important where he's up here and potentially unattainable in most people's eyes. What they don't realize is what I realized in 2020 is he's not up here. He doesn't put himself up here. He's very humble and he helps. He's got a servant heart, not only for the actual clientele that we serve, but also for, the real estate community in general.
Man, how about you, sir?
I just love listening to Rick talk. At the end of the day, I think a big part of what makes us work is the fact that we do respect each other, and we do try to compliment each other as much as humanly possible. And I don't mean just pay each other compliments, but we try to go out of our way to be, what is needed. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, Rick's definitely got some skills that I do not have in quite a few ways, and has brought quite a bit to the table that I didn't have previously, especially when it comes to systems, processes, technology, things along those lines. Um, and then when you really learn to not necessarily avoid weaknesses, but when you really learn to highlight and lean on strengths, you know, again, with no negative bias, we're not looking to avoid weaknesses, but you really look to emphasize and lean on the strengths that definitely do exist. It allows you to build one hell of a synergy, in all honesty. It really does. It allows you to almost multiply. It's like 1 + 1 = 17 instead of two. You know what I mean? That type of deal, because you really learn how to work together in the best possible ways.
Absolutely. Man, I'm be honest, man. I told y'all, what I had coming up next, but I could talk to y'all for forever. So many more questions that I could give you guys. I just don't have enough time to do it. So I absolutely love what you guys are doing, what you're building, how you want to empower people, your passion on wanting to help people. And so I thank you so much. But listen, before we wrap, if someone wanted to reach out, connect with you, or collaborate or learn more about what you guys are doing, give them some information about yourself, the mastermind, any information you want to give to our listeners, I think now is the time for sure.
Sure. I mean, from a collaborative standpoint, one of the easiest ways to get a hold of the two of us is to go to that website, which is just IPA and the number 4REI.com. That stands for Income Producing Activities for Real Estate Investors. Ironically, the group is more than half licensed agents and brokers as well, but it makes sense because those are the same people that are talking to the very people that we help. It doesn't matter what you do in real estate, you play a part, you can be part of the group. We've got mortgage brokers, we've got real estate brokers, real estate agents, property preservation folks that come around. So that's probably one of the easiest ways to get a hold of us. I also have Rick Hamrick .info. That is also, that's kind of like my V card if you want to get in touch with me that way. But I would say that IPA for Pros is the best way to get in touch and collaborate on a deal that you're having challenges with, or even potentially look at, learning and becoming educated so that you can stay very relevant over the next 5 years.
Anything to add there, Will?
Yeah, there is one easy way to get a hold of the two of us is just to send an email to info@IPA4REI.com. And that ends up going directly to both myself and Rick. That's probably the easiest way to get a hold of us. Working with institutions as much as we do a lot of emailing. And we also have the esteemed privilege of basically working bankers' hours because we're working with bankers. We work with institutions, government agencies, and banks, and insurance companies that insure the investments of banks. So they all have a tendency to work during regular business hours, which one thing we love about that is it allows us to be able to spend some time with our with our families and stuff like that on the weekends and in the evenings and all of that, which, historically real estate is very much associated with having no free time on the weekends and having no free time in the evenings. And we get to avoid that by choosing specific niches.
Gentlemen, again, I want to thank you too for being here. This was definitely a pleasure. I know our listeners got incredible value out of this. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your stories. Thank you for your perspective. Thank you for what you're doing with your niche within this space. Again, this has been a pleasure. So I thank y'all again.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Q.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now to everyone else, listen, you've got the value. You got value. Listen, we gave you the 2-for-1 here. We gave you, 2 for your trouble. And so you want to make sure you are subscribed. You do not want to miss out on these amazing conversations. And so make sure you hit that subscribe button. Rick and Will, thank you again. And for everybody else, we will see you on the next time.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind Community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.